Right now, this is inception. We're marketing the fund.
What's the strategy for marketing the fund?
You? No.
Good. Okay, done. Cut. Interview's over. I was flying in from LA going into JSX, and I saw this gorgeous gray plane parked on the runway, and it had this really interesting logo on it. And I was like, that looks so familiar. Do you know what plane I'm talking about?
Yes, I do indeed. Yeah, no, every time I look at it, I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful plane. But had to throw the W logo.
Jake Paul just built a $500 million empire, and most boxing fans have no idea it exists. While everyone argued about whether he was a real fighter, he was quietly stacking assets that make his fight purses look small. We're talking about a promotions company, a body care brand worth $150 million, a venture capital firm backed by the smartest money in Silicon Valley, and a real estate portfolio that spans Puerto Rico and 5,700 acres of Georgia land. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how deep this goes and why the boxing world completely missed it.
Or no, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, dude, it's the best. It's really such a blessing, and it just like changes the game with the amount of things that you can actually do. So you can actually like grow business, do more events, go to more meetings that you maybe.
You clicked because the number sounds crazy. $500 million from a YouTuber who fights boxers. But stay with me. Most people still think Jake Paul is just a social media kid who got lucky punching celebrities. That's what the mainstream boxing world wants you to believe. It's easier to dismiss him that way. What's actually happening is a different story. Jake Paul has been running a multi-platform business operation, using boxing as the engine, while building ownership stakes in companies that are quietly becoming worth hundreds of millions of dollars. We went deep on this. We pulled the Forbes rankings, the venture capital filings, the real estate records, and the broadcast deals. Here's what we found. 1. Jake Paul doesn't just fight, he owns his own promotion company and collects money on both sides. 2. His venture portfolio through Anti-Fund includes bets that could already be worth more than his entire boxing career. 3. There's a specific moment where this stopped being about YouTube and started being about generational wealth.
After I lost that money, I tried to, do the classic. I'll just bet more money and win the money back. And I lost $9,000 more.
The dumbest thing, he goes to me, I figured it out, man. The easiest way to win your money back at the casino is just understand, if you keep playing, you'll win your money back. I go, bro, that is quite legitimate.
Jake Paul started on Vine in 2013. By the time the app died in 2017, he had 5.3 million followers and 2 billion views. He was 17 years old and already out-earning his parents. Between 2016 and 2018, he made $44 million just from YouTube. That's not a typo, $44 million, before he ever threw a professional punch. He used that money differently than most influencers. Instead of spending it, he started investing it. He launched Team 10, a creator network. He took his YouTube income and started writing checks into early-stage startups, small checks, seed-stage checks, the kind that can turn $500,000 into $50 million if the company blows up. Then he discovered something that changed everything. Boxing isn't just a sport, it's a media machine, and if you own the machine, you control the money. This is where the story gets complicated. Now, most people covering Jake Paul stopped at the fight purses. They saw $40 million for the Mike Tyson fight and called it a day. But there's one thing they all missed. Jake Paul doesn't just fight, he promotes. In August 2021, Jake and his business partner Nikisa Badarian, the former CFO of the UFC, launched Most Valuable Promotions, MVP. That first signing, Amanda Serrano, 7-division world champion. They paid her more in one deal than she had made in her entire career before that. Here's why that matters. When Jake Paul fights on a Jake Paul promoted card, he collects the fighter's purse and the promotional cut that would normally go to Bob Arum or Eddie Hearn. He double dips. Most fighters see one check. Jake sees 2.
The Mike Tyson fight on Netflix broke records, the biggest boxing gate in U.S. history outside Las Vegas, 65 million simultaneous viewers. Jake walked away with an estimated $40 million from that one night, but that number only counts his fighter purse. The promotional fees sit on top. By 2026, MVP has broadcast deals with Netflix, DAZN, Sky Sports, and ESPN. That last one matters. ESPN handed MVP the same programming real estate that Top Rank, Bob Arum's company, held for 8 years. Top Rank, the most storied promoter in boxing, replaced by the kid who started by knocking out Nate Robinson on a Triller card. But the fighter and promoter money, that's not even the most important part of this story. And this is where the real story, the one nobody in mainstream boxing media is connecting, finally comes out. Jake Paul has a venture capital firm called Antifund. He launched it in 2021 with entrepreneur Jeffrey Wu, and he has been quietly writing seed-stage checks into companies that have since become some of the most valuable private businesses in America. Here's the math. Jake invested in Ramp, a corporate finance platform, when it was worth around $25 million. Today, Ramp is valued at $32 billion. If Jake put in $500,000 at the seed stage, that stake is now theoretically worth over $100 million from one check. Then there's Anduril, a defense technology company. Antifund got in when Anduril was valued at $8.5 billion. As of March 2026, Anduril raised new money at a $60 billion valuation. He invested in Olipop when it was worth $200 million. It's now at $1.85 billion. He invested in Cognition.ai at a $2 billion valuation. It's now at $10.2 billion. Chronosphere, another anti-fund bet, was acquired by Palo Alto Networks for $3.35 billion. Who backs Antifund? Mark Andreessen, Chris Dixon. The top names in venture capital are LPs in Jake Paul's fund. And then there's W. In June 2024, Jake launched a men's body care brand, deodorant, body wash, body spray, sold at Walmart for under $10. Within 1 month, W raised $14 million at a valuation of $150 million. Within its first year, it was on track to surpass $50 million in sales. Jake's 20 million YouTube subscribers are its marketing department. His customer acquisition cost is basically zero. Celebrity net worth now puts Jake's total net worth at $200 million as of 2026. But here's the thing. Most of that is paper wealth in private companies. If even 2 of his anti-fund bets exit successfully, that number moves to $500 million or higher. But here's what nobody is connecting. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every fight Jake Paul takes is not just a payday. It's a marketing campaign for everything else he owns. Think about it. When Jake fought Mike Tyson, 65 million people watched on Netflix. That's 65 million impressions for W Body Care, for Better, his sports betting company, currently valued at $375 million, for Most Valuable Promotions, for Antifund. His Puerto Rico mansion isn't a flex, it's a headquarters. The 12,000 square foot smart home with an Olympic boxing ring, cryotherapy chambers, and a recording studio is where training camps and business deals happen side by side. Most boxing promoters spend millions to market their brand. Jake Paul is the brand. His social media audience of nearly 80 million people across platforms is a distribution network that money cannot buy. He built W Body Care into a $150 million company in 30 days without paying a dollar in traditional advertising. That same leverage applies to every business he touches. The $500 million isn't hype. It's where the math lands when you add fight purses over $150 million, a venture portfolio with multiple billion-dollar company stakes, a $150 million body care brand, a $375 million sports betting platform, $55 million in real estate, and a promotion company with deals on 4 major broadcast networks. Boxing is not Jake Paul's business. Boxing is his marketing department. And he figured that out before he was 25 years old. Jake Paul walked into boxing as a punchline. He's leaving it as one of the most sophisticated sports media business operators in the game. Fight purses that hit $92 million, a venture portfolio backed by Mark Andreessen, a body care brand that hit $150 million valuation in its first month, a promotion company that just took over ESPN's old boxing slot from Bob Arum. That's not luck, that's architecture. Was Jake Paul right to use boxing as a launchpad for a $500 million empire, or is he robbing the sport of credibility it can't afford to lose? Drop your take below. If you want the real story behind what's happening in boxing, the money, the power shifts, the moves nobody else is tracking, hit subscribe.